Today, we're talking all about Cinefilms and why it might be a cheaper, more affordable, more interesting way to shoot film going forwards, some of the difficulties that you might experience along the way, and why Kodak are trying their hardest to kill it before it even got started. Let's talk about it. So, if you've shot film before, you'll be vaguely aware of C41, maybe 35mm film. That's kind of the standard film that most beginners would use and would load into a camera like this. They come in little 35mm cassettes and they just slot right into the back here. Pretty simple to get yourself started. When I first started shooting film, a roll of Kodak Gold used to be about £3.50. Now it's around £8 on a good day, which is a significant increase. So people have been looking at different ways to make the most out of their budget when it comes to shooting film. As an industry, despite the recent growth, it has been a declining trend for the past 30-40 years or so. But one area where it hasn't been declining is with cinema films. There are a number of companies who are working really hard to take that film and re-spool it into 35mm cassettes that I could slot right in the back of this camera. So what did I do? Well, I bought myself 2 rolls of Kodak Vision 3 250D. So the first roll that I shot with it was in the Pentax SPO 115G in my video where I was looking at using a panorama film camera. I was really impressed by this film stock. The key thing about it when I purchased it was that it only cost me around £5 per roll, so pretty much a bargain price. I was really excited to get started and see how it handled colours, what was a little bit different about shooting cinefilm, and whether it could produce really high quality results. I didn't need to worry at all though, because all of the pictures that I got back on this roll were absolutely fantastic. I loved these panoramas, the colour rendition was really good, and I was really pleased and thought maybe I am onto something here and this could be the future of film. Now, along the way there were a few bumps and things that you might need to be aware of. When purchasing a cinefilm, it has something on the film called a remjets layer. Now, I'm not technical enough and I don't know enough to accurately describe what that means, but what I do know is that it can't be processed in C41 chemicals. It needs to have a completely different development process that most labs probably won't do. Finding a lab that offers ECN2 processing can be a little bit tricky, but then the price point at which they offer it at is normally a lot more expensive than C41 film development, which is a little bit of a bummer because the whole point was to try and save ourselves some money. But despite that, I still think that it offers a good overall value in this package. Both the roll of film and the development together still cost about the same as a regular roll of C41 film, and if I was doing it in bulk, I may be able to develop myself and find some extra savings that way. So I was still looking forward to seeing what the second roll would have in store. Now, for my second roll, I loaded it up into my Canon EOS 500 and I took it with me to Portugal on a trip. I was really excited about the results, and let's see how I got on. So yeah, something happened with this roll of film and I'm not sure what. Now, one of the obvious things could be that the film lab developed my ECN2 film in C41 chemicals, and that means that I got this wacky, crazy color rendition across all of the different frames. Anyway, let's get back and have a look at some of these other images, because I do think some of them turned out to be quite cool.
Just arrived in Albufeira for Christmas, so I'm going to be testing out some Kodak Vision 3 over the period, and we'll see how well it performs.
I found a shell.
Oh, nice one. So there are a lot of hills here in Portugal, but hills are no problem when you've got an outdoor escalator. What the hell? Damn. What do you know about convenience? time to get some lunch. A nice little cafe set up. I'm working. Strap dude. Oh? It's pretty easy to forget that it's Christmas time at all. But it is late December, so... It's okay.
My favorite house right now.
Now, this roll of film for me was kind of low stakes. You know, it's not a professional shoot, I'm not bound by some kind of contract, and I don't need the best results ever. And this experience kind of highlighted for me maybe one of the problems with switching to cinema film. Even though I'm kind of a beginner to the film world, I've probably shot hundreds of C41 rolls now, and something like this has never happened to me before. I've shot 2 rolls of Cinefilm ECN2, and this has happened to me once already. It's a little bit experimental, it's a little bit unknown. I haven't quite nailed down that process. I still don't know exactly what went wrong. It's quite hard to troubleshoot. I got in contact with the lab. They weren't particularly sure what happened, and they reassured me that they did process it in ECN2 chemicals. Whether I believe them or not, I'm not sure, but it isn't the only problem that we're facing. If you were thinking about getting more into film and thought that Cinefilm could be the way to go in terms of securing a nice film stock that you could regularly use and get used to, it does seem like a pretty good deal so far in our video. But Kodak have cottoned on to things like this happening. They've released a statement and gone out of their way to say that they will no longer be selling Cinefilm to everyday folk like me or you. Instead, releases of the film are going to go exclusively to registered studios so that they can preserve the integrity of the cinefilm market. They obviously don't want any loopholes or backdoors into us getting cheaper film, and so they've taken action to kind of stamp that out. What was the point of this whole video? Well, if you want to try Cinefilm, I'd highly recommend it. I thought it was a pretty cool process where I got some great professional looking results and some wacky experimental results. Admittedly, I couldn't choose which I was going to get at the time, it was more random, but I am pretty pleased that I took the plunge. You can get rolls of film like this pretty cheap across the board. I would highly recommend Analog Revival. They've got all different types of Cinefilm stock that you could pick up and experiment with. The idea that I can shoot film and take some pictures on exactly the same film stock that many of my favourite Hollywood movies are produced on is really quite cool, and I enjoy that feeling. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely something to explore. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I come out with a new video every single week. If you enjoyed this one, give me a thumbs up, and of course I want to hear all of your thoughts about shooting on Cinefilm in the comments section down below. So I will see you next week.